Hi, let's start learning Python. So, in this series, we are not going to read all of the stuff by ourselves, but we are going to implement each of the stuff which are mentioned in each sections. So, I will be trying out to implement all the codings and all the stuff which are mentioned here and doing all the challenges which are mentioned in each section, so you will be able to just follow with me and implement that codings with yourself so you can get same results. Instead of just reading the documentation, I will be concising and I will be giving the uh, real meaning of each stuff which are mentioned in this whole documentation. So without further delay, let's dive into it. So let's learn Python. So Python is a programming language. It's not just a coding language. If you are thinking it's a coding language, it's not. Coding language directly give output in our browser, but a programming language can't do that. But a programming language have the feature of logics. So you can create logics using Python. So while using Python, you can create any kind of logics. You can create chatbots, you can create AI apps, you can create any app which has some logics. And with plain HTML, you can't create a logical website or logical app. You always need some programming language which will work with HTML to get you some perfect results, like any car racing game or any chat app or any app which are used for social media. So that's how programming language works. So Python can be used on server to create web apps. It's directly not used on client side, like if you don't write code directly on uh, the interface. Like what in HTML we will be writing code directly on interface, like we put the stuff and we get the results like this. But in programming with Python, we always write the code, provide the program, and it will run and execute some output on the server, on the backend, not directly on front. So hopefully you have understand. So in the whole series, we will be learning Python examples which are mentioned in each sections. We also will be doing Python file handling, which are more important stuff, which we have discussed in our introduction video. Also, we will be learning database handling, and we also will be doing exercises. So don't worry, each of the stuff will be teach in each section, so you will be able to do programming using Python. So let's dive into it. So the first thing we have is Python introduction. So what actually Python is? Python is a programming language, as you know that. And programming language, what it can be used for, it can be used for creative web development, software development, mathematics, and system scripting. And what Python can do is Python can create web apps, as we have discussed all of this stuff which I mentioned. And in the AI era, because AI needs a lot of logical stuff, so Python is the best language for creating AI because it is user friendly. Its syntax, the way we write Python programs are more familiar with the human language. Like if you pick up English and if you pick up Python code, both has a similarity or both has much more uh, same way of writing. So that's way Python is most popular than other language to uh, for doing programming with to create any system. So why Python? Python can be run on Windows, Mac, Linux, etc. All of this stuff. It is similar to English language, and Python language we need only fewer lines of code to generate a much more output as other programming language can't do. And Python is a very good programming language for object oriented. That's make it more useful for creating high level softwares like AI, machine learning models, and etc. So all of this stuff are mentioned here. You have to go through all of that if you want to, but I have just highlighted the few stuff which I think which are required to you to be learned. So let's start with the first code we have. So just click on the try button and you will see codings. However, you have another option for writing Python code. Either you can use Colabs, which is provided by Google. You can sign up here and start programming. Most of the researchers, most of the AI engineers, and most of the professionals use this. And in future, we will be using this for writing our code because it has a best environment for running our programs. Because creating AI and machine learning models needs GPUs and Collabs provide that. So we don't have to buy GPUs. We just have to go to the Collab and its virtual GPUs will help us to run the code, create the AI, run the machine learning models. So for the starting, we will be using the W3. So we need a code editor or programming language editor to write our programs to be run. And here visit, we are using directly the W3 School code editor. So let's write some code like this one, the first code we all of the beginners should write. So it's just a print function, so which has an output of hello world. So you can see that if we click on run, it will run the program. So hello spec, you can write any stuff between these uh, quotation marks and you will see some results like hello speckle. So you can also use single inverted commas which will be having same results. So that's where. So don't worry if you don't understand this code much, but in future we will be diving into deep so you can learn better how to write programs. So here is the simple syntax of it. So whenever you have to get some output, you should start with print. Print means in programming language in Python will be uh, printing something on the display screen. So in this we directly get an output of hello speckle which is wrapped up in this function. That's why we get this. So it's just used for printing the stuff, but it become dynamic when we use it with functions we use with the logics and other stuff. It may become more creative, like we will be writing some commands on uh, somewhere in our programs and it will be dynamic and we can chat with our programs and we will be getting some results as you have to use the ChatGPT and etc. uh, just like that we will be working on the behind the scenes of the chatbots and functional softwares. So this is the first step towards learning uh, towards learning creating a dynamic application. So let's get started. So in this section, we will be focusing on how to get started with Python in your local machine, or uh, you can also install the Python in your local machine. But and you can also have a code editor IDE for writing this Python. But what I suggest to you for the learning purpose, for the implementing the beginner stuff which we are covering, we doesn't need any coding tools like VS Code or Colab. For just starting, you just have to write the code in the browser while using the W3 School website. But in future, when we are going towards the advanced concept and the main stuff of Python, we will be using technologies based on that. We will be using VS Code, Colab, and Anaconda, notebooks, and much more stuff on the way. But in starting, it doesn't need, so don't worry about installing the stuff. But you can also follow this section to install your Python in your local machine and run Python in locally. So everything is just about how to install Python in your local machine. So without further delay, let's dive into the next section, which will cover up the syntax stuff. So let's see what are the syntax.